Welcome back to the Redeeming Real Estate Podcast. Once again, my name is Robbie Osinga.
BJ Armstrong.
And today we are going to talk about the way that some changes in the local economy affect the real estate market, and we're going to try and bring a redemptive perspective to that. So let's jump right out of the gate here and just acknowledge that here locally, there have been some hot button issues that have sort of come up over the last couple of years. Well, obviously 2008 hit everyone.
Right.
More recently, over the last year or so, there's been a lot of changes. The largest employer in our community is a large insurance agency that has been relocating some of their offices and strategic locations outside of our community,
Right.
and so that's put a lot of people in some flux. As well as another large employer and a large manufacturer recently are laying off tremendous amounts of people. All of these things bring about some sense of instability. And so let's talk about how to bring some redemptive perspective in that. But let's go back to 2008.
Yep.
Okay, when that happened, in your role, it started in your role as a business owner and a developer and a builder. What did that do to you, and what did that do in the context of the real estate market here locally?
Well, it was interesting. We actually started to feel a downturn well before 2008. And I think what happens in there, you start to just worry, right? You start to go, oh, man, right, I've never had a house that long. I've got a lot of inventory of whatever. Once that financial meltdown hit, honestly, that's where panic sets in. Then you go, oh my gosh, right? Do I have my business structured in such a way that I can survive a financial meltdown? And honestly, that's exactly what everybody does. Everybody starts reevaluating and going, all right, Caterpillar's doing it right now, right? Their answer to, hey, how are we going to survive in 5 more years? We're going to get rid of a whole bunch of people, right?
Yep.
And I'm sure that's a valid strategy for them to get where they need to be. Well, we did the exact same thing. We said, all right, we got to cut the bottom line to make progress towards it. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's brutal and messy, and a lot of people are hurt, and it just is what it is. The truth is, there's a handful of guys that went out of business and no longer get to do what I do. And for the grace of God, I suppose, we made the right moves to the point where we're still in business today. And honestly, what happened, you never understand until you look back on it. It's always that revisionist history. You're looking back on it and you're going, oh, well, I really changed my business a ton between now and then, and I function way differently today. For example, back in 2008, I don't remember the number, we probably had somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 spec homes, right? Because it used to be, we would just build spec homes, and I didn't really want pre-sold stuff, because why would I deal with a homeowner when I can just sell this one? I can make all the choices, right?
Sure.
And literally that was the mentality. Not that way today. I wouldn't dare go put up a bunch of spec homes. So what we did is we retooled and said, all right, we're going to go get really good at dealing with people one-on-one and being that guy that can just build it exactly the way you want it.
Yep.
I'm telling you, there's an art to that. It's not.
Sure.
It's a different animal, but again, we've gotten good at it. So we've changed for the better.
What about and I've witnessed that. I've seen the process and the way that you guys work with your customers, and it's tremendous. And you're right, like you said, some people aren't here who were here a few years ago. What were the types of conversations going on for homeowners, home buyers at that point in time? Just because it's still a little bit fresh, and these types of things start to bring up some of those memories.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, it's all fear based. You look at houses in particular. You're probably your biggest asset right now is your house.
Right.
Biggest purchase you've ever made in your life. All of that, right? So in our community, we saw about a 20% decline in prices. That's way better than it was across the nation, by the way. We got nipped on the low side. But when 20% of your net worth goes away,
right,
it just stirs something in you, right? And part of what happens to us as realtors is that we have to coach people through that. I have one of my closest friends is also a stockbroker. And he does it all the time. If I call him right the day after the market moves 300 points, I go, dude, what do I got to do? And his answer always is, hey, sit tight, right? I mean, his job with me is to reassure me and make sure that I don't just go out and do something stupid.
Yeah. Well, So we're by no means do I mean to fully compare where we're at now and things going on here locally to 2008. We've started to see some pickup. So before some of these announcements started to come out, where would you say our local real estate market is? How would you describe it?
Stable.
Okay.
I really want to put a label of growing on it, but it's really not. It's stable.
Let's start with honesty. Yes,
Let's go back. I don't remember how long ago it was that State Farm decided that they were going to make these changes or really formally announced them, but it's maybe been 2 years ago. And what happened when they came out and formally announced that, everybody just lands in this fear zone, right, where you're just under panic going, oh my gosh, we're never going to sell another house. We're going to all be out of business. And ironically, right now today, there's about 1,200 homes for sale in the multiple listing service. That's a very stable number. And we've kept up, even though they put whatever it was, some 400 homes on the market, we've kept up. They've all sold. There's still some that are just crappy houses that aren't going to sell.
Right.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And right, we continue to move through inventory, so we still find buyers. People come to me all the time and they go, well, where are all these buyers coming from? But right, so I can't necessarily point to, hey, these people are hiring, these people are hiring. I don't know, other than I watch that inventory number and know that for every house that comes on, a house is selling. That's good. That's stable.
So with these recent announcements that have come out, and the more time that I've spent with some of your agents, a lot of times these real estate transactions happen on the heels of a catalytic event.
Yeah.
So when we hear these numbers, maybe our first gut reaction is, oh, what's this going to do to our business? But at the end of the day, you and I both care a lot about, there's people behind each of those numbers.
Yeah.
And man, real estate agents get brought in at some really tender moments. Stuff's raw.
Yeah.
Whether it's divorce, death, or retirement, or whatever. There's a lot of emotion in there. Over your history, and now really wanting to lean into taking a redemptive perspective to real estate. What's your role as a real estate agent in that maybe goes beyond what people expect in terms of that fiduciary responsibility?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. When you think about those catalytic events, right, one of the drivers for the people that are going through those is emotion, right? I mean, if you have a death in the family, you're going to have this emotion about you that, hey, this is, right, your whole life just changed. And so I know that somebody in my family just died, and I know that now I have to go sell that place, and I have this emotional attachment. Sometimes it moves from the person into the property, right? And so really what I have to do is be the coach that goes between and says, hey, you know what, here's how we make this not an emotional decision, right? Here's how we get back to the reality of, I need to figure out what your needs are. I need to figure out what's right for you. What's right for you may not be right for somebody else, right? So it's really is a one-on-one and individual thing that comes only from personal contact and a lot of communication around what that looks like. And then we set up a plan and a strategy for that specific person that says, here's how we do it. But I can make choices that are generally more rational than somebody that's coming from emotion.
And you're there to help kind of counterbalance that.
Absolutely.
And keep things moving forward. Is there a particular story that comes to mind over your years of working in this that you think, man, something switched in me based off of that relationship, that I realized the power of the role that we play?
Honestly, I hesitate to share this because this is a very personal story, and honestly, it was a really good friend of mine. A friend of mine came to me and said, hey, sell our house. We want to move. All right, awesome. We put their house for sale, and we go start showing them other houses. And I got the sense, as we were looking at other houses, that something's just not right. And I didn't ever put my finger on it. I didn't really know what it was. Found them a house that they loved. They moved into it. It wasn't 90 days later that they had filed for divorce. There is something to stopping and sorting through the process at that very moment when it hurts and it's hard, to make sure that people are actually making the choice that they think they're making. I think it's probably shocking. It's probably shocking how many people try to save a marriage by buying a house, honestly.
Really?
Kind of like having a baby, right?
Wow.
When people do that.
Man,
Mm.
and that's why this conversation matters.
Mm.
Again, the slogan for Keller Williams, a big part of that is that lives worth living piece
Yeah.
is the last part, and that's not just for the people who work in the business.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, we're trying to transfer that, right?
Yeah.
Trying to hand that off. So let's go into the last piece. There are a lot of homeowners or people who are, they've watched 2008. Maybe they were just thinking, I'm just going to rent for a little while. They're thinking about maybe this is a time to get in, but then these announcements come out and they start to get. What's your word of advice, the breathing life into the home buyer or the homeowner about some of these announcements that are coming out? What should they be thinking?
That everybody's different, right? If Mitsubishi's going to close down and there's going to be 1,000 homes for sale, is yours better off to be the first one for sale, or the middle one for sale, or the last one for sale? That's a conversation that would be between me and the seller. I don't know. For everybody, that answer is going to be probably a little bit different. Much of it has to do with where your finances are, right? Is it something that you can carry? Are there other strategies that we can come up with? So really that becomes that tailor-made program for each person that sets it up uniquely. What you shouldn't be afraid of is, oh my gosh, right? I just lost all my equity. No.
Yeah.
Right.
2008 has said something about our local real estate market.
Absolutely. Now, I'm not saying that you're not going to see a little dip, or you're not going to see,
sure, or
it's not going to be harder to sell or something like that. But no, it's a don't be afraid of it. This comes to the right when those things show up. It's a fear shows up that I can either run from or I can run toward. And when you choose to run toward something like this, you go and start to seek solutions. Right? It's not the whole fear-based thing. Just get you down, and I can go click on the TV and have a glass of wine and try to forget about it, and it's worse tomorrow. Versus if I actually go do some research and talk to somebody and whatever, I figure out that it's really not that bad.
So when you say do some research and talk to somebody, are there any quick tips that you can give a homeowner when they're choosing the real estate agent to work with, that maybe red flags that maybe this isn't the right person or this is? What are the types of things that people should be looking for in a real estate agent?
Here, you know what's funny about that? You'll know it. We call it commission breath in the industry.
No, you don't.
Well, I swear to you.
Of course you do.
You can smell commission breath a mile away, right? If I came in and sat at your dining room table, you would know. Am I in this to come out with the best thing for the Osengas, or am I in this just to pick up my little bitty commission and walk out the door? You get it instantly. So that's kind of an instinctual thing, I suppose. You gotta listen to that.
I did not think we would go towards commission breath, but wow. No, that I appreciate that. We are all now better as a result of having heard that phrase. So
real estate is redeemed.
So I think what I'm hearing here is it's unique for every individual person, every individual real estate business owner and
so
client.
So let me hit this too, right? Because what a lot of people will do, so they'll go do research, and what I would consider inappropriate research. The very first thing you do when you want to know the value of your house is you go to what website? Zillow, right? And you get a Zestimate, right? Well, here's the thing, right? Zillow doesn't have my data. Multiple listing services don't share their data with Zillow. So it's generally outdated, it's old, it's incomplete, inaccurate. So what's going to happen is you're going to see that little down arrow, and it's going to push you farther into panic. And then you're going to go share that with all your friends, and it just feeds itself. Very different. If you call a real estate professional that I can pull up actual sold comparable data and say, no, here's the real data, here's what you need to worry about. I also get to, when I know you and I know your family and what you guys need, I get the opportunity to tailor make that plan that says, hey, you know what? It is the right time to move for you. It's not the right time to move for you. Or maybe we figure out an investment strategy. Lots of different things. A computer won't do that for you.
Yep. It's the power of a human being.
Absolutely.
And the power of relationship. Well, BJ, as always, thank you for your insight onto this. This is a hot button, sort of a fear issue. Yeah. And I think it's our responsibility to be able to speak into it and to breathe a sense of calm. And I think the takeaway here is the value of, and a lot of people are asking this right now, the value of a realtor versus realtor.com
Yeah.
or Zillow.com or whatever is the power of a human being who can sit down, who knows what's going on more than you do. Just like you're an expert in your job, they're an expert in theirs.
Right.
Let them do that. And you know when someone's the right fit for you or if they need a mint. And so, yeah, thank you for your insight into that. And we look forward to joining in on another conversation here soon. We'll probably be bringing a guest along with us to talk more about ways to breathe life and to bring redemption into the field of real estate. So thank you.
It's good. Thank you.